why not? Let's just gather things together and let people have an experience in a well-designed space.
We got an awful lot of stuff, and it was offered to us.
We've been thinking about it actually for quite a long time, collecting things, thinking about, oh, this would be good, we better save this because we want people to see it, you know, and we want people to see this, we want people to see that. Yes, I mean, it is a kind of look at your career, and I think it's kind of an interesting time to do it. We've got enough stuff, in fact, too much stuff.
There's some incredibly interesting things that go along with the Rolling Stones, and it's not necessarily, you know, the members themselves, but, you know, all of the bits and pieces and technology and instruments and stuff, the things that have passed through your hands in that time, you know, very interesting, at least to me, because half of them were stolen.
We put in our little offerings of directions and questions. Well, why? Wouldn't the audience want more of an interaction? You know, wouldn't the people want to come in and actually feel things and make it more tactile?
It's very important that we get it right. It's quite... If we're going to give Mick something to worry about, that will be it. It should be right.
I think we've been pretty hands-on in this. We've looked at, you know, lots of proposals, ways of presenting these things, of what things could be presented, what gets centre stage. And we've changed a lot of the ideas that were originally presented and substituted them with other ones. So it's been pretty hands-on and we've had a lot of input into it. So I think that's good. The exhibition is at the Saatchi Gallery, and we started off our living together in the King's Road, and actually I still live near the King's Road, so it's very close.
The first time I played with the Rolling Stones with Bill Wyman, I think this is right, it was in the King's Road, World's End, Edith Grove.
I used to bump into Mick quite often in Granny Takes a Trip, and there was another shop in Cale Street called Hung on You, which was a little secret place that had some really great little items, because there was a little secret one-upmanship with the clothes.
People that had shops there, they were usually their own shops. They were designers, Mary Quant, you know, Michael Rainey, and it became, you know, a very comfortable place to live because everybody was doing the same thing.
It's quite lively. It's a bit of a high street now. In those days, it was a bit different.
The scene was great down the King's Road. That was where you went to be seen, or you could just watch the theatre go by.
To make the decisions about what goes in and what doesn't is really difficult.
Pretty impossible, but we're going to divide it into various sections.
And there's a lot of my costumes and the rest of the band too, but I think mine's the most.
You could relate, you know, maybe one or two guitars to certain sessions, and the one I played on Give Me a Shoulder, just as we were on the tail out, the damn neck fell off. And the thing fell in half in my hands, but we had finished enough of the song, so you didn't have to hear that.
Going back to the 60s and some really silly things from the 70s and 80s, and really, I mean, silly from everywhere, really.
Certain guitars that you know, I can relate to certain incidences and stuff, but otherwise, that to me, they are still just working machines, you know. I don't bow to them, you know, pray, you know, not very often. It was the perception of other people. I'm actually very good. And, you know, you fit me into a role, I'll play it.
We never really consciously cultivated this anti-hero image thing. It was just the way things evolved, and then people tried to get us to wear uniforms and at a certain point. I don't really know why.
I was heavily into the design and the image, really, and it was away from the Beatles, everyone looking the same in suits and ties.
The days of playing in a suit are over, and it's also bloody uncomfortable.
I used to take my own trousers in and taper my own pants and make sure I got the right jackets and shirts and shoes. Yeah, it was a thing that made me feel comfortable.
The way you looked was a big part of it, wasn't the only part of it. It's how you acted, how you spoke, what you said in the songs and everything. But it never was a sort of sit down in a committee and trying to cultivate it.
I never made that decision at all. I always wore what was at hand because I knew it was great.
It's a natural progression, really, from the bohemian into the teddy boy, which I watched as a youngster in grey flannels, but I saw all the crepe soles and the tight trousers and all that.
Without the bouffant haircut, I was early mod.
I steal clothes from other people. I'm brazen that if I say I like that shirt and I forget the guy actually feels obliged to give it to me. And no, I didn't really want to take the shirt off your back, you know. If I like something, I got to say so. You know, and I accept gracefully and wear it until it drops. I don't, but family does. I mean, I'm always glad when somebody else is doing it.
My collections are mainly jazz, to be honest with you. Blooming jazz, as my wife calls it.
The thing is, I don't really hoard things from my... so we've had to get all these things from other people. The only thing I kept was costumes, really, to be honest.
I collect notable things and artifacts from music, you know, over the years, whether it's guitars or picks or little trophies or things that people have given me, and I try to hang on to.
I've got more Louis Armstrong stuff than I have Rolling Stones.
Charles Dickens, I suppose, it would be very interesting too. I mean, we've already got a start. There is a mini one, his house.
Maybe Mao Zedong would be good. You know, you could have a good line in jackets. They might all be the same, slightly different colours.
I'd have to say Duke Ellington, because I have quite a few things relating to him.
A lot of the guys that I would put an exhibition on never possessed a thing. So it would be a very sparse sort of exhibition, you know.
I don't think it means to say it's all over just because you're doing a sort of retrospective exhibition. I think, you know, we're still working and still doing shows, and I think we'll continue to do so.
How many times have they said that about every tour since 1975, I think?
It'd be lovely if it was, but I have a feeling it won't be.
This is another insight into an ongoing machine and institution that will never stop rumbling, you know, with, who knows. We didn't get this museum idea with the thought of retirement. No, it's just another, you know, another input into the travelling circus.
If anybody should be interested when we're going to quit, it should be the Stones, and they're not particularly interested in that.